if I were to pop this question to you, to name me one of the best-selling cars of modern times, you would probably be a bit perplexed. This car doesn't come from America, it does not come from Europe, it comes from the land of the rising sun, Japan. Okay, Japan does not have a long history of car making, but yet they have given us some of the best-selling cars of our times. And the one I have was born in 1966. It has sold over 40 million units and is still one of the best-selling cars, the Toyota Corolla Altis. And now it's time for me to get in behind the wheel and bring you a lowdown on the new Altis. This is the 11th generation of the Toyota Corolla, and in close to 50 years, it has sold 40 million units in around 150 countries. Talk about longevity, and there aren't too many cars in modern times which can beat the Toyota Corolla. In over a century of automotive production, there have been only a handful of cars which have made it past the 50-year mark in terms of continuous production, and the Corolla Altis seems all set to do that. So in that sense, the Corolla Altis is already a historic car, and it becomes all the more relevant because this is an everyday sedan which is made to a cost, and it is the Corolla's proven reliability and lasting build quality which has made it into such a preferred vehicle for literally millions of car buyers. So what's changed in the new Altis? Well, I don't have to tell you that. Everything pretty much as far as the front end is concerned. New headlamps, new grills, new bumper with the air dams. In fact, the transformation is complete and she looks good too, doesn't she? As far as the rear is concerned, the tail light cluster has changed, the bumper and the boot kit has both changed. And now it's my turn to go inside and see what's changed there. This new Corolla Altis is the next generation in the evolution of the Corolla story. But mind you, Toyota doesn't call it a new platform. So under the pinnings, you are likely to find a lot of carryover parts from the outgoing model. But it is the shell and the interior dressing which have completely changed, and changed for the better. If you step inside this Altis, which is now called the new Altis, you will soon realize why it's called new. Because everything has changed inside. I wasn't particularly fond of the interiors of the old Altis really. To me it appeared a bit dull and drab, but things have drastically changed in here. The fascia now is dual tone with beige and black, and there is a centrally mounted display which is of course touchscreen. It's really nice, and the steering wheel is leather wrapped with multifunction buttons, and the instrumentation too is nice, bright, visible with a blue light. And if you look closely at the speedometer, you will see that it shows you a top speed of 240 kilometers. But I think with a 1.4 litre diesel engine and 88 PS of power, that's being a little too hopeful. You're not going to get there. But nevertheless, this looks really nice. But this is a car which is meant more for the backseat passenger than for driving. So now I'm going to step in the rear seat and see what's changed there, because that's what's going to make a difference to this car really. The Corolla has always been known for its comfortable ride, spacious interiors rather than for its performance or style quotient. And this new one still sticks to the same formula: substance over style. And this Altis has that in plenty, even though it may turn off a few. The interiors can't be called classy or flamboyant, but what they are is extremely well made and purposeful. Everything here is made to serve a purpose and fulfill a need, and this is what gives the Altis its character and an air of practicality. I feel the most useful change this new Altis has had is the increase in the wheelbase. The wheelbase now has gone up by 100 millimeters, and that's a lot for a car this size, and this clearly shows itself the moment you step into the car and sit in the back seat. The knee room has gone up by 92 millimeters, and that's really good news for the big and the tall boys. Plus there are little changes like the addition of a reading light here, and another very useful and practical change is the back seat, which now becomes reclining. And this will make the ride even more comfortable for you. And for a car which is positioned as a family sedan and meant more for being driven around and driving it, these little changes to the rear will make the new Altis all the more attractive. The boot of this Altis can hold 470 liters of luggage, and the rear seats offer a 60-40 split. So you can squeeze in some additional luggage, but they don't completely fold down. It seems the wheelbase increase has gone more into increasing cabin space rather than increasing the boot space. But my feelings are that this Altis would have done well with a little more boot space. This new Altis 2, like the old outgoing model, would be available in both the diesel and the petrol variant. The petrol one is of course the much bigger one, the 1.8 litre unit, but what I am driving right now is the 1.4 litre diesel. If you look at the spec sheet, you might think that this 1.4 litre unit is a bit too small for a car this size, and the car would tend to be sluggish and slow. But once you get in behind the wheel, all these doubts vanish. Okay, this car is not superlatively fast, but at the same time, it's neither slow nor sluggish. In fact, the first thing that hits you is that the engine is really refined. The level of noise and vibration in the cabin is at the bare minimum. It offers a really nice and quite smooth ride. I really like the ride of this car. This is not a car which you'd really like to push around the corner. The suspension soaks up all the bumps and the potholes and the aberrations of the road very, very well. And what it gives the car is a very, very pliant ride. So if you're going to spend time on the back seat, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. As I told you, the new Altis would be available in both the petrol and the diesel variants. I was driving the diesel one so far, but now I'm going to jump into the petrol and see how she drives. This is the petrol variant of the Altis, and actually there is very little to differentiate it from the diesel one, unless of course you happen to look at the badging here, which says VVT, means petrol. But one thing that strikes you the moment you open the door of this car is that in typical Toyota tradition, this car too is very, very well made. The petrol variant of this Altis is powered by a 1.8 litre unit which produces about 102 brake horsepower. This doesn't make it the fastest car of the block, but what it does is that it makes it fuel efficient. The engine is quite refined, the power delivery is linear, and it's quite nice to drive this car. This engine in this Altis is a carryover from the existing model, but what is new is the 7-speed CVT transmission on the automatic variant, and this does throw up a surprise in the way it goes about doing its job. It's quiet and smooth with no shift shocks as the torque converter goes to work and shifts efficiently. I feel it is this automatic which will be the choice of many, but unfortunately it is limited to only the petrol variant. I think the main strength of the petrol variant is that it offers a 7-speed CVT transmission, because nothing really beats the convenience of an automatic transmission in stop-and-go traffic. I think the market for automatic transmissions is only going to grow in India, and if this does happen, it is this Altis which will find favors with many, many buyers, because this is really a nice car, it's fuel efficient, it's powerful, and it also has an option of an automatic. Petrol variant too, like its diesel sibling, is tuned in terms of suspension setting more for ride comfort than for handling. Consequently, the ride is very soft and pliant, and I think this makes this car very, very suitable for our everyday use. Globally, this Toyota Altis is positioned as an entry-level sedan with a very competitive price tag. But not so in India, because the Indian market is predominantly hatchback and this is a full-blown sedan, so consequently the price is much higher. And that, I feel, is the only downside of this Toyota Altis here. To me, it looks like that this new Altis is all set to carry forward the legacy of its older siblings and notch up large sales numbers in the near future, because this is a really well-balanced and well-made car. Okay, this is not the fastest or the most powerful, but what it does offer you is excellent ride comfort. And in this new one, plenty of space too, plus lots of features, and this looks good as well. To me, it's a very valuable addition to the Indian market, and all of you are looking for a mid-size segment should have a look at this one. The Toyota Corolla Altis will be formally launched by the end of this month, and there will be close to 5 variants each for both the engines. And in terms of price, they will certainly go up. Our guess is the quantum of price increase will be in the range of Rs 75,000 to Rs 1 lakh over the existing price.